Welcome to Houston Sports Talk with your host, Robert Land.
Here come the Astros, burning with desire.
Had everything. Astros post-game show, and I tell you what, I'm still holding my breath right now. Do you have any energy left after that?
I think I'm still having trouble breathing, Robert. You may have to resuscitate me before the show's over. Oh, my goodness.
If this is the first time that you're with us, welcome aboard. Robert Land alongside Stephen Kerr. Between the two of us, 60 years combined in sports journalism. We've been doing the live post-game shows all through the Astros postseason. We've been doing this actually for several years throughout the Astros run as a World Series competitor, playoff competitors, and all of that. And Stephen, this just had everything. You don't know where to start, but I guess you got to start with the starter. And Justin Verlander finally wins a World Series game, and he gave you exactly what you needed. That's all I was asking for Justin Verlander. Just leave us in the game and don't give up more than 3 earned runs for once.
Well, I joked, Robert. I tweeted out earlier before the game that if Justin Verlander throws a no-hitter, I'll come on this podcast and sing for you. I guess Justin decided at the very first batter he didn't want me to sing because he didn't get a no-hitter, but I was half joking because really, you're right. You just wanted him to pitch well enough to keep the team in the game, and if the Astros could get some timely hits, I wasn't expecting a lot of runs, just timely ones, then we'd have a chance to win. And they did. It's a good thing they don't give they don't have points on the scoreboard for style or prettiness because it wasn't pretty, but he got the job done. And, say what you will about Justin Verlander's postseason struggles, but the great pitchers not only bounce back, but they pitch well enough to win, or at least give their team a chance to win, even when they're not at their best. And clearly Justin Verlander hasn't been at his best this whole postseason. Well, most of it anyway. Yeah,
no, he has not. And I just want to remind everybody, the comments are already starting to come in. We want to hear from you. Subscribe also to our channel. That's how you can support the show. We've had, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of 20,000 listens over the last month with everything that's awesome going on. And we're going to react to questions and comments as the show rolls along. Look for our Texans post-game show with me and Sean Bajani tomorrow, Friday. We're going to just record that one with everything else that's going on where we're going to record it, but it'll be up pretty early in the day by lunchtime, I'm hoping. So keep an eye out for that. We can get to the comments really quick. Judson said exactly what we just said. Verlander did everything that you needed. Got the quality start. Not officially. I think you got to get 6 innings for a quality start, Stephen, though. Is that right?
You have 5 innings for a win.
Yeah, for a win.
Yeah, officially for a win. So he did go the 5 innings. He did get the requisite there. The thing about Justin Verlander, what worked for him tonight, I think, was his slider, Robert. His fastball, he was having trouble locating it, especially in the first 3 innings. He had at least 2 or more runners the first 3 innings. That 4th inning was definitely his best inning. Then he got out of some trouble in the 5th. So, yeah, he went the 5 requisite innings you need. And as we said, he did just enough. And the Astros bats did just enough to get the job done.
Yesterday, there wasn't a ton to talk about, really, except for the majesty of Christian Javier and that 1 inning where the Astros scored. In this game, we got a lot to talk about. Like I said off the top, Stephen, I mean, just a ton. Yeah. We start with the top of the first. Altuve gets a double and an error, and Jeremy Pena singles on a drawn-in infield. I didn't get that, Stephen. Was really shocked they brought in the infield at that point. Didn't make any sense to me.
I was wondering that too. I thought that they were, I guess what Rob Thompson was trying to do is trying to prevent the run, but yeah, a bit early for that. It was a bit interesting that they did that. And well, we saw what happened there.
So the rally ends though when Yordan couldn't make contact on a 3-2 count with Pena running. turns into a strike him out, throw him out. It's not the Yordan I'm used to, because if he just gets that in place, Steven, that infield is just all over the place because they're on the shift, and you really have a chance to get some more in that inning. But you know, Yordan is still struggling. I mean, we're going to get to a big moment for him later in the game, but as a whole, the Yordan that we're used to, he's swinging at a lot of strikes that are high in the zone when he gets to 2 strike count. That's not Yordan. He's much better at doing that than he's doing right now.
No, and he's not going the opposite way. You know, when he does that, Robert, that's when he's at his best. And as you said, he's swinging at pitches that he really has no business swinging on. And, you know, something else that kind of bothered me on that strikeout is running with a count of 2 strikes, especially against a catcher like JT Realmuto, who has a 44.1% caught stealing rate during the regular season, the best in baseball. You know, I know that Syndergaard, you know, is a bit slow, and, you know, he can run on him pretty easily, but with 2 strikes, I just don't like that, especially with a catcher like Realmuto behind the plate. I didn't think that was a wise move.
I didn't mind it because I just figured Yordan was going to make contact. It was 3-2. He's either going to make contact or he's going to walk.
Under normal circumstances, maybe, yeah. But
I don't know.
Hasn't been happening lately, though, is the problem.
Yeah, you make a good point. Bottom 1, Schwarber turns on a fastball above the waist on the second pitch of the game, and you thought, here we go again. And I'm guessing, Steven, he was guessing fastball after Javier had overwhelmed him with fastballs. He's just like, okay, I know you guys are going to throw me some fastballs tonight, so I'm ready.
Yeah, I mean, Schwarber, you know, certainly the leading home run hitter in the National League. It's not surprising, but just the fact that you do that right off the top and you got the crowd in it, you know, and Hoskins, the next batter, he had a pretty good shot to Alvarez in left. And, you know, then you had, you know, some other things going on in that inning. But the home run, you're thinking, oh, no, how long is it going to last? That was kind of the question that ran through my mind.
Verlander, though, these are the 2 innings that I think were the big ones for him. The second and the third inning, he loads the bases with a hit and a couple of walks, but a strikeout on Rhys Hopkins to get out of it. Then the third inning, he puts 2 guys on. Again, he escapes. Those, for me, were the crucial innings after what happened in the first inning and where this crowd was and everything that was going on, just to shut him down right there. 2 of the bigger moments of the game, as far as I was concerned, for Verlander.
Yeah, that definitely is right. I mean, you talk about escaping. He certainly, he must, you know, you can give him Houdini Verlander as far as the way he was escaping out of those jams he got in. But those were so big, Robert. And when he started doing that, you know, you started feeling hopeful that, well, maybe if he could just get through 4, okay, maybe he can get through 5, and he can get that first win, or at least leave, you know, pitching well enough that we can say he did the job that you asked him to do.
Yeah, Nick says Yordan needs to be dropped in the lineup lately. He sucked. Yeah, they're not dropping Yordan in the lineup.
No, not at this rate. No, it's too late in the series. You're not going to do that.
No. And he could come around at any point and just carry you for a game, as we saw in the first couple of games of the playoffs. But 4th inning, oh, there he goes again. The boy wonder, Jeremy Pena's 4th home run of the postseason, and it knocks out Syndergaard. And he made the 2 big defensive plays. Remember, Steven, early in the game as well.
Yeah, he sure did. I tell you what, you can't say enough about this kid. And, you know, he just keeps having a lot of firsts, which I guess is obvious because he's a rookie. But that homer makes him the first rookie shortstop in World Series history to hit a home run. So, yeah, the guy just keeps making history, Robert. It's wonderful. It's awesome.
3 for 4, 2 RBIs. We mentioned the big defensive plays to go along with it. Just a total stud. And here's Verlander in the 5th inning. This is the key. Can he get through this inning? Because we knew that would probably be it because of his pitch count. He gives up a double. Again, gets out of trouble. Does his job. 5 innings, 1 run, 6 hits, 4 walks. Lots of traffic. It looked like 59 and 610 on a Tuesday, Steven, but he got the pitches when he needed it.
Whew, yeah, I'll tell you what, all those escapes. I do want to go back to something, though, Robert, in that inning when the Astros were batting. Bregman hit a double to left, and I kept wondering, because it looked like it might have hit off of that, that padding out of play there at the back of the wall. And I kind of wondered, and, the Astros broadcasters were kind of wondering it too, is why did the Astros ask for a crew chief review? Because it quite possibly could have been a home run. I don't know what you thought of that particular play.
It just didn't seem like it had got enough of that. I didn't see it, but
it might have been too hard to tell, but
it
just makes you wonder. At least review it.
Yeah, let me hear from people out there. What do you guys think? Because it didn't look like it to me, but and I don't know if there was a whole lot of fuss about that, but let's go to the 6th inning, because 2 on for Kyle Tucker, but he grounds out. So you couldn't, there was a lot of base runners and not many big hits for the Astros in this game. Bottom 6, Neris and then Abreu put 2 guys on, but Abreu, who's brought in for Neris, gets out of it. And there was a quick trigger on Neris, and not the same later in the game. And I'm going to get to that in a second. But top 7, Yuli on third base, nobody out. Hensley and McCormick get the ball in play, but the Phillies infield is in. They miss another opportunity, but the major story from that whole sequence, Yuli gets hurt in a rundown on the McCormick play. We know how bad it was when Mancini, I should say, when Mancini pinch hit for Yuli the next inning, Stephen. And I we're doing this right after the game. I couldn't tell exactly what was wrong with him, if it was more his head. He kept grabbing his head when they were showing him, or if it was his knee, because his knee, had a weird, twist there when he was trying to stay out of the rundown. But I mean, that's huge.
I think it might have been his head, Robert, because he did get hit in the head with Hoskins. When Hoskins was trying to make the tag, he hit him in the head with his knee. And I think that's what really did it for him. Now, Gurriel did stay in the game on defense, but then, as you said, Mancini pitch hit for him in the next inning. So he did appear pretty woozy after that play. I kind of wondered if, he might even come out after the inning was over, or right then, when he left the field. But he did stay in a little bit longer. But I have a feeling that it was.
Well, he was out. He was out with the play, so he was
right. He was out with the. But what I'm saying is, he came back and played defense the next half inning, and then came out. But yeah, I have a feeling it was the head being hit with the Hoskins knee that did it.
Yeah, he kept grabbing that head over and over again. If somebody hears that, I'm trying to do 14 things at once here. I'm watching you guys' comments and trying to keep up with what's going on with Stephen and let you guys know what's going on. So it's a juggling act. If you hear what the injury is to Yuli, let us know as we go along in the show. But hopefully it's not serious enough where he's done for the series. But it played a part later, and we're going to get to that in a second. Top of the 8th, Altuve walks, Pena singles, runners on first and third, Jordan, the chopper to first base. Hoskins can't field it cleanly. Altuve scores, massive run, and fielding at first base turned out to be a story, Stephen, and we're going to get there right now. Let's do it. Montero loses control and walks a couple of guys in the bottom of the 8th. Stephen, and I thought Dusty should have pulled him after 2 got on. Just no control. He just it didn't look right. It looked like his elbow was getting down. And so the fastball was, jumping on him, and you could tell that he just didn't look right. And maybe he was a little tired after the last game and the energy he expended, or just, it might have just been one of those off nights. But I don't know why Dusty didn't pull him after 2, especially as quick as a hook as he had on Neris. And you got Presley obviously ready to go.
Yeah, I kind of wondered that. It was obvious to me it was fatigue, Robert, because it looked like his shoulder was going one way, his body's going another. He definitely wasn't lining up the way he should. And usually when that happens, it's a fatigue factor. So yeah, he probably could have pulled him a little earlier, but you're asking Presley to get 5 outs, not 4. You're asking him to get 5. Pretty tall order, even for your closer that you've been counting on all year. So that may have been the reason he was trying to get that one more out before bringing him in. But clearly, yeah, it was getting a bit wobbly there until he finally did bring Presley in.
Yeah, I just figure the adrenaline, and even if Presley is off, his stuff is just so electric that you go, okay, if he's a little bit off, that's better than Montero being off. And, my call there would have been to take Montero out. I get it because Montero's been so good, but I also it's with my own eyes. That's what I saw. So Presley comes in, gets a strikeout, huge strikeout. Then Trey Mancini, of all people, who doesn't look like he could find a hit. if it came up and knocked him upside the head, he makes a big defensive play off the liner, the pick, great pick on the short hop, Stephen. And there were heroes everywhere in this game, from Jeremy Pena to Justin Verlander to, we talked about, a lot of different guys in this game coming up big. And I mean, you can't believe that Trey Mancini of all people is put in this spot right there. That they'll find you if you're not going well. Baseball will find you.
Yes, it will. And what's so big about that is Stott was on third base. If Mancini hadn't made that play, then all hell would have broken loose and the Philly fans would have gone crazy. So it's nice because he has struggled so much during this postseason offensively. You feel good for the guy. He's a feel-good story anyway, being a cancer survivor, and you want to pull for the guy. I mean, we've been knocking him on his hitting, but gosh, you want to pull for the guy, and he makes the play unassisted, steps on the bag when he grabs the ball. Just, definitely one of the plays of the night that saved the Astros right there. So it was great to see that.
Yeah, and he had to make the play on the final out of the game as well. So
that's right.
A couple of big plays for him right there. I mean, luckily, good throw by Pena on that final play, which was a big deal. Albert brings this up. He says, why did they use Stanek in the 8th inning? And Stephen, I am dumbfounded, especially Stanek will bury you with fastballs. And we just saw Christian Javier just crush them with fastballs. I don't understand what Stanek did to piss Dusty off. I don't get it.
I know. We've talked a lot about that he's used him sparingly in this postseason when he could have definitely pitched the 8th and maybe given Montero a breather, because it certainly looked like he needed one. And, you've got an off day tomorrow, so why not go ahead and pitch Stan? That's a great point, Albert. I'm glad you brought that up.
Top of the 9th, Astros with another shot to do something. Hensley, who hadn't done anything to that point, gets an infield single. Maldi with the single, but Altuve grounds out. And you're like, man, all these missed opportunities. They're going to catch up. They're going to catch up.
That's what I was thinking. The very same thing.
But the Phillies had their opportunities too, over and over and over again. So let's not forget. And we go to the bottom of the 9th. So Real Muto, I don't know if there's anybody, Stephen, that scares me more than him and Chas McCormick, the same Chas who got replaced defensively all season by Mauricio Dubon when it got late in the game. And we don't trust Chas McCormick. Who's there to save the day? Chas Mataz.
You mean Dusty doesn't trust? You mean Dusty doesn't trust Chas McCormick?
Well,
because I trust Chas McCormick in center a lot more than Mauricio Dubon. Let me tell you, anywhere, anytime.
Absolutely.
And it was so great because here's a guy who grew up a Phillies fan. I mean, talk about don't you dream about hitting home runs in the World Series, but you could also dream about making catches like that in a World Series. I mean, my heart just about went into my mouth. I thought that ball was gone, Robert. I really did. And McCormick, that was definitely the catch of the year in the outfield. No question.
Yeah, he scaled the wall like Josh Reddick's Spider-Man senses would have had him scaling the wall. And Plasma Warrior says, not going to lie, that McCormick catch in the 9th is a top 5 catch in World Series history. I don't know. I don't know about that, but it's up there. It's a great catch.
You got to put it up there. It may not be the Willie Mays catch or anything like that yet, but I mean, it is definitely up there. It has to be because, think about what that would have done. It could have easily turned this series around.
You have got to finish this series, though. Let's not just say, oh, they're coming home for hey, we've been here before. 2019, Stephen.
Yes. Don't remind me. I was thinking about that during the game. All right. So they're coming back to Houston, up 3-2. And in 2019, had a chance to win that against the Nationals. You've got Framber going in game 6. Feel really good about that. But my gosh, this is baseball. Anything can happen. So if the Astros are going to win it, please, let's do it in 6, because game 7, it's all hands on deck, and you definitely don't know what's going to happen there. And, the Phillies, you talk about the Astros missing chances, Robert. The Phillies certainly have missed their share. They were 0 for 21 with runners in scoring position since game 1. Because remember, in game 2, the Astros, of course, won, but in game 3, they hit all those home runs. They didn't have a lot of runners in scoring position. So they're 0 for 21, though, since game 1. in that situation. So they've had plenty of chances to turn this series on its ear, and they just didn't.
Yeah, so many heroes in this game, and the guys that you're just not expecting. Altuve had a pretty good game. Gets on a couple of times. He scores a run. Was it one run or two? Did he get? I think it was the run in the first inning for sure.
Yeah,
but I mean, you had
because Pena scored a couple of runs.
Yeah, it was Jeremy Pena scored.
RBIs.
Yeah, Jeremy Pena was of course big, and not a whole lot from the Kyle Tuckers. Bregman had some great at bats. Definitely, he always does.
Yeah.
He always gives you the best at bats on the whole team. But it was guys like it was the Chazes and the Trey Mancinis, and I just remember seeing so many people on Twitter. Thanks a lot, James Click, for Trey Mancini and Christian. Well, Trey Mancini just got you one game away from the World Series. You are up 3-2. You've got one more to go. And if it wasn't for Trey Mancini, who was there for you, I don't know where they would be. I mean, maybe it's a Ledmus in that situation, but Trey Mancini makes the play. What can you say?
Well, and Christian Vasquez, he's contributed too during this postseason. So, sometimes, Robert, it is the little things that make a difference. And in the postseason, we're always hearing about guys that are unexpected coming through when, that you least think that it'd be that guy. That's who comes through. That's what makes baseball so great. It really is that you just never know what's going to happen, not only from one night to the next, but from one play to the next, and who's going to make that play. And you think about Trey Mancini, Chas McCormick. You think about Christian Javier. I mean, we kind of expected him to do this by now, but, here's a guy that we've been keeping our eyes on him the last couple of years, but he's come through. Gosh, it's just amazing how many different guys for the Astros have come through in this World Series.
There were so many just what in the world? This is everything that could go weird, went weird. Kyle Tucker and Chas McCormick almost looked at each other and let a ball fall between the two of them. Kyle Tucker had a ball bounce off of his glove. I don't know if he would have had a shot at the runner at second base in that situation, but that could have been a disaster. I think Verlander gets out of that inning after that, but it's like every single out feels like you're pulling teeth. And the Astros have been in these World Series now for the last 6 years, Stephen. This one to me is just the weirdest, like the stuff that's happened. And that's saying something, because against the Dodgers, you had that incredible game 2, 12 inning Astros win that one, the late home
13-12. Yeah.
And then the craziest World Series game of them all was the game 5 here in Houston. But I mean, this series, it's just like, I feel like they're one of those Texas cockroaches, this Philly lineup, and you can't, you think you got them killed, and then you look over and then things still moving around. And I'm like, what do I got to do to kill this guy?
Well, that's exactly why I've said the Phillies really scared me before this series. I really dreaded playing the Phillies because they are certainly a tougher team than the Yankees have been. And just the way they kept fighting and kept scrapping. I mean, that's why they made the playoffs in the first place. Talk about a turnaround. This team shouldn't have even been there. And they fire their manager. Rob Thompson comes in as the interim. You can bet he's the permanent manager now. What a job he's done with them. But, every game in this series, Robert, has been weird. I mean, game 1, the Astros get a 5-run lead, blow it. Game 2, they totally turn it around. And, game 3, of course, just all those 5 home runs off the same pitcher. First time that's ever happened. Game 4, you've got the combined no-hitter. And then game 5, all the things we just talked about, all the crazy stuff. So, yeah, I'd have to say it's one of the craziest World Series I've seen in quite a while with any team in it.
It's game 6 up next, and the Astros are up 3-2. They have got no home runs from Jordan and not much offense, period, from Jordan. They've got no power from Altuve, although he's starting to really contribute in other ways with extra base hits and
he's hitting the ball better. So that's saying something.
But you figure at some point, Altuve usually has a home run in a postseason. He doesn't go through an entire postseason, and we haven't seen Altuve hit a home run this postseason, and Jordan hasn't had one, and it seems like forever and ever and ever. I don't know how long ago that was, Stephen, but it feels like it's 2 months ago.
I think it was in the ALDS.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
of
I think
course.
that's when it was. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no,
But
I'm
it
very
seems,
aware of
yeah, it seems like
that
last
series.
year's ALDS.
Yeah, that series though feels like, doesn't that series feel like about 2 months ago to you?
Yeah, maybe last year. Yeah, no, it seems like forever. But yeah, you're right. And game 6 will be a wonderful time for either one of them, or hey, I'm greedy, Robert. Why not both of them just hit a home run? Let's get this thing going. I mean, the sooner the Astros can jump on the Phillies, you got Zach Wheeler going in game 6. They've been saying he has arm fatigue. I mean, the Astros really could have gotten to Noah Syndergaard a lot sooner too. And I mean, they jumped on him pretty quick, yes, but they didn't get a lot of runs off of him. But I think that's the key. If Zach Wheeler's arm is tiring, don't give him a chance to get set. Get on him immediately and get this thing rolling in game 6 and hopefully not look back and not have to have a game 7.
The other thing that I think about going into this game 6 is at some point, I'm hoping this Phillies bullpen starts to wear down, Stephen, because they have been incredible, but they've had to pitch a ton of innings over the last few days. Luckily, they had that 2-day break, which benefited them greatly, I think. But you hope at some point, maybe after pitching so much in the last few days, that it's going to catch up to them. I mean, Syndergaard came out of this game way early. Their other starters, the guys that you depend on, haven't given them a whole lot of innings. So you hope at some point the Astros can take advantage of their bullpen that might be wearing down a little bit. I mean, the Astros obviously pitched their bullpen the last couple of games, but they didn't have to use hardly anybody thanks to Jose Urquidy, who did a great job just giving you innings in that game 3. You hope that the Astros are going to be pretty good. Hopefully Montero can bounce back if they've got to use him again in game 6 or whatever. But I mean, please, Ryan Stanek is out there and he's fresh as a daisy, and I just don't get it. And it's almost like he's in timeout or something. I don't understand this.
Yeah. I mean, I think they keep talking about putting him in certain situations. Well, you put the guy in all season long, and I mean, I know he does get runners on base. He does tend to do that, but gosh, all the rest of the numbers speak for themselves. He gets out of it. So yeah, let's give him a little more love here. And I think the off day will help the Phillies for sure. Thankfully it's not going to be 2 days in a row. So yeah, you just have to hope that fatigue will play a part in it. But I don't know, when you get to this point in the season, Robert, when you have 1, maybe 2 games at the most left, it's just, everybody just has to reach down a little bit deeper on both sides. And that's probably what the Phillies are going to do. And Rob Thompson's been very wise with his bullpen. He's been using the guys as well as he can for what he has to work with. So it'll be interesting, most definitely.
The Astros, we knew they had the depth in the pitching, and I think it's showed in the last couple of games. Now, the thing is, you've got Framber on the mound for game 6. Stephen, you really want to get it done with Framber on the mound. You feel like we got our real ace is on the mound, number 1. And number 2, you have a day off, so the bullpen should be pretty fresh. So when Framber would come out, whenever that would be, after 6, after 7, cross my fingers he can get 7 innings. That would be incredible. Yeah. But if you can get to that point, your bullpen's fresh for those last, so you just get some runs for Framber early in the game. It'd be such a big deal. If you're going to Minute Maid Park, if anybody out there is going to Minute Maid Park, you better not sit on your tuchus the whole game. You better just stay, unless there's a disability, stand up the whole darn game.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's show these Philly fans who real fans are, and how real class is, guys. Come on, let's get it going here. Yeah. Well, I said it a little while ago. If we're going to win it, let's do it in game 6 when you've got Framber on the mound. What a difference it'd make, between 6 innings and 7 innings. I mean, imagine if you get through 7 innings, that leaves you only need 2 innings for your bullpen. I mean, how great would that be? And Framber is capable of doing that. I think he'll probably go 6. That's what I'm predicting. But either way, yeah, a great performance by Framber is much needed. And the timely hitting certainly needs to continue if the Astros are going to win it in a game 6.
Our friend Judson says tickets starting at $1,000 for game 6,
Woo.
40% higher. than
Let's
at the
do a
start of the game.
GoFundMe page. Maybe we can raise some money in between now and then. My goodness. Yeah.
I guess it was about, I don't know what, $600 or whatever when the Astros started Game 5. So you know how that particularly goes. I mean, they were going to play Game 6, so I don't. It just amazes me that the price went up. But obviously, this is now the chance to, you could finish off the series. That's another reason that the prices, I'm sure, went up a little bit.
Yeah, and I guess for Game 7, it'll be what, 2,000? It'll probably go up for Game 7 even more.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That's going to be that'll be off the chart for Game 7. But yeah, when I look at this series, you feel like maybe these last two games would take the wind out of the sails a little bit for Philadelphia. But this team, like I said, you are going to have to fight and scratch for every single out. I would like the offense to just put you in a really good position to where you're not sweating it out those last 3 or 4 innings and you're depending on these relievers to do it yet again. I just feel like, oh my goodness, that we have put so much pressure on our relief corps this postseason because the offense is it's been a little bit hit and miss, a lot hit and miss.
Yeah, a lot hit and miss all season long. I mean, guys have come through when they needed to, but no, Robert, let's not expect the Phillies to roll over and die. I mean, this team has had to fight all year long. They're used to this. I mean, they're used to having their backs against the wall. The Astros were in that position once, so they know what it's like to have to do that, to fight back. So, no, I fully expect the Phillies are going to come into Game 6 at Minute Maid Park and be ready. They're focused. They're one game away from elimination. They are going to fight and scratch and claw and bring it with everything they've got. And the Astros just need to be ready for it. And, not only have great pitching, play great defense, but yeah, the offense definitely needs to step it up. I've never felt comfortable with this offense the entire year, but they've gotten to this point. It's usually somebody coming through. So that's probably what's going to happen in the next game.
What are you doing tomorrow, Stephen? How are you going to handle having this off day before the game?
Well, I'm actually going to take off work on Friday. I'm a freelance journalist, and so I kind of arranged it where I can have some time off. Going to probably just, relax, maybe run some errands, some things that I haven't had a chance to do. Just going to take it easy, really. Just kind of have a chill day. I don't even know if I'll watch any sports tomorrow night. I'm not even sure what's on. The Rockets playing tomorrow night. They're not worth watching anyway. The Texans, they played tonight. I didn't even watch them. So, yeah, I may even settle down with a good book, but I'm definitely going to relax tomorrow, Robert.
Yeah, the Texans actually made the game interesting for a while. They always tend to do that. And we're going to talk about that in the Texans post game. If you get a chance tomorrow, listen to it. If not, you can just watch it anytime this weekend. Of course, everything's up on our YouTube channel. It's all there, easy to find. And big news, Stephen, from social media. I'm checking Chandler Rome 10 minutes ago. He said, quoting Dusty Baker and the Astros, that Yuli left the game with right knee discomfort. And Dusty calls him day to day. So right knee discomfort is better than a concussion, I think, because there's a chance that they could put some ice on it and, I don't know, steroid it up. I don't know what not the illegal steroids, not the Roger Clemens, Andy Pettit steroids, but the other.
No, different kind of steroids. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, well, I mean, if it has to be something, I'm definitely glad it is the knee and not the head, because if it's not too banged up, maybe the day off will certainly help him. So we can only hope that. But yep, that is good news, at least that it is day to day and not he's out for the rest of the series.
All right, Stephen, what I am going to do, and if you're listening to this and you haven't seen it, I had a great interview with an old friend of mine, a guy I've known since the day that he was born. His name's Brian Blake, and he's coming to Houston tomorrow night to perform over at it's called Anderson Fair. It's in Montrose. Come over there and check it out. Say hello if you do, because I'm going to be there. And I'm really excited about it because I get to see him perform live the month that his first album comes out. Brian's in his mid-40s, and this is a big deal for him. It was produced in your area, in the Austin area. So it's a very
I heard about that.
Very Texas-centric album, Stephen, because listen to the interview that I did with him, because he talks about the Texas roots to the album. It's about his Texas history. It's about the town that his family's from, Liberty, just outside of Houston. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with Liberty. So it's really cool. I can't wait to see him, and his sisters are going to be there. They're flying in from Alabama and Tennessee to check it out. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. If you miss him tomorrow night, he's going to be back in December. Just check the podcast. We talk about the dates. Check the old show with Brian, and he's good. The kid is good. I still call him the kid because I knew him when he was nothing. So.
Yeah, it's always good to see the local guys make it big, especially people you know. I mean, I definitely pull for them, and so yeah, if you can turn out, that'd be great. If I were in Houston, Robert, I'd join you. That'd be a great thing to do tomorrow night, most definitely.
Hell of a songwriter. He was named Memphis Songwriter of the Year last year.
Wow.
And
awesome.
He can write. And he's been doing this for a while. He plays great guitar. I mean, he's all around, the old school singer, songwriter, guitar player, the work. So yeah, really looking forward to that. And then me and you are like gear back up on Saturday. I'm going to be a nervous wreck probably most of the day, like every Astros fan, and try to get it back in gear for our Saturday night postgame show. But am I confident? I'm never confident in the Astros, but it's the best case scenario.
I'm cautiously optimistic. How does that sound? That's probably a better way to put it. I'm cautiously optimistic, especially when we have Fromber going.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. That's the one
cautiously optimistic.
The one thing that I'm confident about is Fromber Valdez. And if they could just give him a little help, just give the man a little bit of help.
Yeah.
So a couple of runs and he'll be okay. And Fromber, please do not. I was going to say it another way, but I'm going to be clean about it. Please do not screw yourself by making some weird throw to first base. If it's not there, just hold the ball.
Hold the ball, Fromber. Hold the phone. Or the ball. Yeah.
Oh, exactly. My goodness. Anyway, I guess nobody's got any more comments. If you got comments or questions, last chance to get them in before we've closed things out.
No, just, as I said, just going to take it easy and hopefully, have something to look forward to on Saturday night. And, the Astros were actually a minus 130 favorite to win this game. I was a little surprised about that, Robert. That's what Vegas had. That's pretty big odds. They came through. So, maybe they'll have that again on Saturday and come through again.
Oh my goodness. I think I'm going to need some sleep tonight because this one was exhausting, man.
Yeah, it definitely wore me out. So that's why I'm going to use a chill day tomorrow.
All right, everybody. Well, we look forward to talking to you guys again really soon. We've been doing this podcast for 9 years. These are the moments that we live for, the Astros post games in the World Series. You can't beat it. We know we're not going to get this stuff with the Texans and the Rockets anytime soon as far as postseasons go, but the Astros, they are giving us everything and more with these World Series. It is crazy stuff. Let's, you know what I need to do? I need to queue up one last bit of music here.
All right.
Where's my music at? Come on. It's not playing. There we go. I was looking for it. All right, Steven. Thanks for doing this. We're going to catch up to everybody again on Saturday night. Don't forget, the Texans postgame will be tomorrow. You don't want to miss that. Until we talk to you again, have a great evening and have a good weekend.
Go.
Listening to Houston Sports Talk.
Hey, you can support the show by subscribing on YouTube and commenting on the videos. Listen to Houston Sports Talk on Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, and Google. Don't forget to tell a friend and share our show on social media. Spread the word, everybody. Thanks for listening.